Hello?
Hi, is this Dr. Elmo?
Yes, it is.
Well, we would like to welcome our guest, one of our featured guests for the evening, the singer-songwriter of the Christmas standard now, Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer, as well as many other great songs. Dr. Elmo, welcome to the show. You're on live with Terry and Tiffany.
It's a pleasure to be on, Terry, Tiffany.
Well, I want to let you know, when your song first came out, I despised it, but God, I love it so much now. It really grows on you, doesn't it?
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I guess that you can. I guess some people can acquire a taste for it.
So the first question is, now I'm trying to be funny here, but let's say I was a psychiatrist. They'd want to know, like, what is it about your grandmother? Did you not like your grandmother, or why did you want to run her over?
Well, she left me out of her will. But there have been other. There was a group of psychiatrists, I guess, up in Oregon who studied the song for a long time and thought that it had something to do with Grandpa. I don't know, doing away with Grandma for some reason. It had like an Oedipus sort of thing.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy that people like read things into songs? I'm sure you just did it for entertainment. Didn't think people dissect it, did you?
I know, yeah. When they dissected it, it was pretty amazing. If it's nothing that I ever had in mind.
So let me ask you, how did this all come about to where you just sat down and decided to become a songwriter and really kind of doing what is known as Dr. Demento genre or parody type songs? Because I understand that you started out having kind of a variety of early careers, right?
I did. I started off, I wanted to be a jockey. And then I got, it was evident that I was going to get too big. My dad had been a jockey and got too big and then had to go back to being a farmer. And the same thing looked like it was going to happen to me. So when I started growing, when I was about 18 or 19, I went to school and went to be a veterinarian. Mm-hmm. And then I was a veterinarian on the racetrack for a couple of years. And then I moved from the racetrack in New York to San Francisco, and I started a small animal hospital in San Francisco and was practicing there for a while and just got interested in playing the banjo, 5-string banjo. Just as a hobby. I never expected ever to play it on stage or anything, but there were some other guys around playing, and I started playing with them, and then I never wanted to sing. But then, nobody else in the band wanted to sing either. Most bluegrass players, they don't want to sing. They just want to play their instruments, kind of a hobby or maybe more like a vice.
Right.
But at any rate, I started singing some. But every time I sang a serious song, everyone would either kind of laugh or they didn't particularly like it that much. But when I sang funny songs, they seemed to think it was pretty good. And so I thought I just would go with the flow. And I started writing some funny songs and singing them on stage. And then actually the guy who wrote Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer saw me one night singing. And he came up and said, I have a song that my band would never let me play. And I think it would be perfect for you. And his name was Randy Brooks. And he sang Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer. And I thought, yeah, that would be perfect for me.
Now, when the record first came out, it said Elmo and Patsy, but you're not using Patsy anymore. What happened to Patsy? Was that just a joke?
Yeah, so actually, Patsy and I had a bluegrass band together.
Okay.
And I used to sing the funny songs, and she used to sing the serious songs. And she had been a player for a long time before me, and she quit and was tired of it. And then when we met, and we toured for about another 12 or 13 years. And I think she was just really tired of the music business, and I was just really wanting to be in it a lot. Mm-hmm. at that time, and so we separated 1985. That was, almost 25 years ago.
Am I the only one that even noticed that? I mean, does anybody ask you that a lot, or?
Some people do, yeah. It's been a long time now, but the original record was called Elmo and Patsy,
Okay.
even though she didn't particularly sing on that song. But when we made albums, she would sing the serious songs on the albums.
Well, you could explain it away by doing Patsy got run over by a reindeer,
Yeah, I could, yes, for sure.
Now, kind of a silly question for you, Dr. Elmo. We have actually a live chat room going on during our show, and listeners can submit questions. And the one question that keeps wanting to come up is they're wanting clarification. Did Grandma actually die in the song?
Well, according to my friend Randy who wrote it, he said that most country and folk songs, the hero always dies at the end. You kind of know it's coming.
Right.
And he thought it would be a good idea if he could just kill her off in the first few words. And then he said if you could still keep the listener's interest for another 3 verses, you really have something.
Well,
however, but of course, like for the commercial value, in the animated movie and in the video that I made, that MTV played for a long time, we brought her back in those two.
Well, so you see, you almost have to, because I guess you got in trouble for actually putting the song out because didn't like the Gray Panthers, who was kind of like the Black Panthers, but they're for old people. They got a little upset, right?
They weren't as energetic.
They would go right on, but they couldn't raise their wrist because of arthritis. So.
That's right. When the song first came out, maybe a couple of years after it was out, I was playing at a club in San Francisco, and they were advertising, here's a guy who saying Grandma got run over by a reindeer. He's going to be playing in San Francisco. And so I was about 2 blocks away from the club, and I could see it up there. And there's a big bunch of people milling out in the front, and I figured they were all waiting to get in line, in line to get in to see me. But when I got up closer, they all had these picket signs that said, this song is violent against women, it's ageist, sexist, and one person had a sign that said, what's so funny about a dead grandma?
Oh, my. Well, I don't think they had to call in the riot squad, because probably after 20 minutes they had to take a nap, so...
That's absolutely right.
Well, we were really excited to have you on. This is kind of like our day after Christmas show, because we didn't broadcast last Christmas because we do the Saturday thing. But we were excited when we got into research and realized that we've been playing you all along, because we're a big Halloween station here, and as part of our format is Halloween and novelty songs. And
no kidding! Wow.
And we played a lot of your great Halloween stuff, like your
wonderful
right. Pointy
That's
the Pyramid
the stuff
Pumpkin.
I'm most proud of.
Really?
Yes. I even though it's not all that commercial in a way, because it's such a short selling season. The stores say, Halloween, like it's here and gone in one day. We don't want to keep the records in the stores that much, but actually, my record company said, if you make a Halloween album, we'll put it out. And I certainly, was hoping to get another album out on Sony BMG. So I worked on this Halloween album, worked almost a year writing the songs, like all original songs. Most Halloween albums just have doors creaking and chains clanking.
Right.
But we actually, myself and my co-writer, we wrote all these Halloween songs, and I guess not many people have taken the time to do that before. But I thought it was the best album I've ever made, as far as being kind of funny and silly and clever and sometimes scary. Like Texas Chainsaw Halloween is a little bit scary, for the little kids.
Then you had a Texas Chainsaw Christmas too,
yeah.
right? I mean, how did that tie into Christmas?
Exactly.
You were talking about it being scary for Halloween, but you decided to bring it out for Christmas too. So what was the thought behind that?
Well, the funny thing was the Christmas one came first.
Oh, okay.
And then when we, when we ran out of ideas for the Halloween album, we said, well, something we can just change the lyrics and make this a Halloween song. And it turned out to be a pretty good Halloween song as well.
Well, it definitely works. I gotta ask you about one other song that could be a little controversial, all according to how you look at it.
Right.
Now, you sing the song, but I guess you're supposed to be singing as a woman, but you definitely have a male's voice where you're going on a date with Santa Claus.
Right.
Now, is that suggesting something, or how am I supposed to take it? Are you supposed to be a
Yeah.
woman in a song? You know what I'm getting at, Dr. Elmo.
I know exactly what you're getting at, and I do live close to San Francisco, so so I know exactly what you mean. But here's the thing about it. I thought it was a great song, and but I haven't been able to get any women to record it.
Oh, okay.
And so I just made a demo of it myself so I could pitch it to women to sing. Mm-hmm. I have pitched it to some women. We pitched it. I was on tour with Brenda Lee.
Really? I love
Brenda
her.
Lee was like, do you know who Brenda Lee is?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I've met her.
Yeah,
She's a wonderful
right.
lady.
Anyway, she's a really great character, great performer on stage still, and she's still not that old because she started when she was about 10 years old. So I pitched it. So I was on, went on tour with Brenda Lee a year or so ago, and I, showed her the song. And she said she loved the song, but it was just too racy for her. And it's not really that racy.
Not if a woman sings it, no.
Well, the worst line in it, you'll be okay, even if the FCC. The worst line in it goes, I went to the mall and I sat on his lap. He gave me a pinch and I gave him a slap. He hung candy canes from the side of my blouse. I felt something stir and it wasn't a mouse. And, we could have changed that line for her. And we also pitched it to Bette Midler. We had a chance.
I would have thought
so
she would have loved it.
Well, I'm not sure if we ever actually got her to listen to it, but we just pitched it to her people. And so, to make a long story short, Terry, I couldn't get anybody else to sing it, so I just sang it myself.
Well, it's like the Monty Python version. You know how they couldn't get women or whatever, or they didn't want to, so they put on the wigs and the dresses, and why not?
Yeah.
I just tried to get you in trouble there, Dr. Elmo. I just wanted to find out. I mean, it's okay. It's okay. But so how did Grandma...
That was fine.
That's okay. How did Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer actually become an animated little cartoon there? I mean, that was a big thing for you. It had to be.
It was pretty big. Well, I just started talking to a guy down in Los Angeles that was interested in making a movie out of it, and his name was Phil Roman, and he was the producer of the original How the Grinch Stole Christmas. And I would write a story and send it to him, and say, well, we want this, and this, and then I'd write it, rewrite it, and then rewrite it and rewrite it, and I would have preferred it to have been more like South Park, but he said, well, it'll have a lot longer life if it's more like, It's a Wonderful Life.
Right.
So he sort of dumbed it down, to my way of thinking. But still, kids love it, and it worked out pretty well. And I also, got to write the other 5 songs in it.
Well, that's cool, because now, you not only have the song on the radio, but you have the special. And something like that can keep you going for years. One of the people that I love that I got to meet and interview was Bobby Boris Pickett, Monster Mash, of course, and he would always love to brag about, I'm going to now sing a medley of my hit, referring as if he had more than one, but he, supposedly recognized by the one. I mean, when you first came out with Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer, I imagine it had to be a lot of self-promotion, because back in the day, in the 50s and the 60s, novelty records were pretty easy to get airplay. But now in this day in modern times, I imagine it had to be hard. I mean, did you do the route of hand delivering records to the DJs and radio stations, or how'd you go about that?
Well, here's what happened first. When I first recorded it, I just recorded it as a gag gift. I was still a veterinarian full time, and I recorded. You had to have 500 records pressed. I gave about 10 away to my friends. It didn't even occur to me to take it to a radio station. And one of my friends took it to a radio station and gave, in San Francisco. And I was driving to work one morning, and the DJ comes on. He says, "Well, a lot of people like the song, a lot of them hate it, and if we get 50 requests, we'll play it." And I'm kind of interested. I'm thinking, "Wow, what's this?" And suddenly he gets 50 requests and starts playing Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer. And I was stunned.
Wow.
Well, it obviously paid off, because is it true that you're now the number 2 selling artist in Sony BMG's Christmas catalog?
It is. It's really hard to believe, over the years. And we've had really good sales recently. It's had its booms and bust years of selling, but from 1979 till about 1983, we didn't sell any because we didn't have any stores to sell.
Right.
The radio stations were just playing it, but no record. Every time I went to every record company, and they laughed at me. They thought I was nuts. They said, "Well, the best thing could happen to you would be, if some real artist, like Merle Haggard or somebody or Willie Nelson sang this." He said, "That's the only reason it would ever help you."
Oh, that's terrible.
So I was trying to get them to do it.
You did a good job. I think you were as good as Bing Crosby.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, Terry, you're the man. Thank you.
Thank you. It's really hard to believe it's been 30 years?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, my
really
God.
Hard to believe. It's with the general public, probably 25, because I think in 1984 is when things really heated up. And 1983 Christmas, it was number 1 on Billboard's chart, but we hadn't sold many yet. And in 1984, Epic picked it up. And so you have to understand, people had been hearing it for 5 years, but they never had any opportunity to buy it.
Right.
So in the December of 1984, when Epic picked it up, it was their number 1 selling album and single that December. And mind you, Michael Jackson's Thriller was also out that December on Epic. Mm-hmm. So it was like it outsold Michael Jackson's Thriller that month. Just for that month, certainly not for all time or anything, but it was a great year that year, and it kept up for quite a while, and then it waned a little bit, and then came back, and in the last maybe 8 or 9 or 10 years, things have probably been better than ever.
Well, it's good to know that keeps you going, but we want to remind people about those great Halloween songs, too, because it's not like you're out of work like Santa Claus, Christmas is over.
All right. Hey, thank you so much for bringing up the Halloween stuff, because that is the stuff I would most like people to hear, because we did so much work on it, and we thought we had a lot of funny things, I thought, that came out of it. Not only funny, but, real Halloween stuff, actual Halloween songs.
So when you're on stage and you do your live shows, do you pretty much stick to the lyrics that everybody knows, like with Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer, or do you do some improving too?
Some improving once in a while. We always do the line where, so the people have heard it a million times. When we play in shows, sometimes I'll change a line, like, now the goose is on the table, and the eggnog freely flows, and the blue and silver candles, that would just have matched the hairs in Grandma's nose.
There you go. My favorite part is at the very end, and I shouldn't say that because I love the whole song, but who's the dude at the end that goes, "Merry Christmas"?
That was my longtime drummer. His name was Doug Corrigan.
Well, he was great. It was a little part, but he was good. I really enjoyed it.
Oh, something that's one of the vital parts. And the funny thing is he was quite a good singer, but that wasn't his voice. He used to always listen to the Statler brothers, who did this takeoff called Roadhog Moran.
Right.
And he used to always be imitating Roadhog Moran all the time. We called him the Roadhog. And so just at the end, when we were recording Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer, he just did that little part, just acting like Roadhog Moran. And and it really has become, you know, one of the more valuable parts of the song.
Well, let me ask you this. We're going to have on next Saturday another legend in novelty music. I don't know if you know his work, but I'm sure you've heard of the Chipmunks. And that's the one.
The Chipmunks. Oh my
yes.
God, have we ever?
So we're
no kidding, you guys.
Yeah, we're having Ross Bagdasarian Jr. Of course, his dad started it, and he kept it going during the 80s. But now they've got 2 feature films under their belt. What about Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer or Dr. Elmo movies? Anybody ever approached you?
Well, yes. Someone just approached me recently. And the guy that did the animated movie sort of has the exclusive dramatic rights. So I'm not sure if they'll be able to work out anything with him or not, but they are interested in the movie. But my hat's off and great congratulations to the Bagdasarians for getting 2 Chipmunk movies.
Yeah, because, you know, like I said, back in the day, I mean, novelty record was king back in the 50s and 60s, but it's really hard to get something going and to give you kudos to know that you had as many, you know, awards and everything given to you as you've had, you know, for Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer. And let me tell you this, to tell you how popular you are, you know how popular you are when your novelty song spurns a parody. Because there was a song put out called Grandma Got Run Over by a Beer Truck.
Oh, yes. I know. Yeah, that song has been parodied a few times. I'm very flattered. I think that the Youpers did that.
Yes, they did. That's got to be the greatest form of flattery there, you think?
Oh, it is. Yeah, it really is. And you're so right about novelty records. They used to be hits all the time with Ray Stevens, and you know, you get a novelty record like that, it would be a hit. But nowadays, the formats are pretty, you know, pretty tight. And nobody wants to, you know, if it's country and western, they don't want to hear a funny song. And if it's jazz, they never wanted to hear a funny song.
Right.
Well, there have been funny jazz songs, but that's it. You know, once you're in the novelty category, like you're not going to get on many playlists.
Right.
I think the grandma song's on a lot of playlists, but other than that, like, you know, just regular daily stuff that isn't Christmas, hard to get on a playlist.
Not unless you're Weird Al Yankovic, and he just doesn't seem to have a problem. I don't know.
Yeah, well, you know, I think Weird Al sometimes suffers from a similar thing. I mean, he's made such great videos, and he is just, you know, has such a great body of work. But normally, if you're listening to the radio every day, it's unlikely you're going to hear Weird Al.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, and I understand because they just don't, you know, it's just a different day from when Ray Stevens was around and other people used to do some of the funny songs.
Yeah.
Well, I sure appreciate people like you bringing that old tradition back, and I hope you keep on doing what you're doing because I think you're incredible. I think you got a great voice, and you're funny as hell, and we need people like you because Christmas for a lot of people gets depressing. Like I talked to Dr. Joyce Brothers a long time ago. She talked about people that kill themselves and everything at Christmas. And it's funny to laugh about your grandmother getting run over by a sleigh. and that way it cheers you up a little bit.
Well,
Yeah.
Before we go, Dr. Elmo, I wanted to ask about some of the products that I've heard is out. From what I understand, there's a 30th anniversary collector's gift tin. There are ornaments at Hallmark and excuse me, and plush toys.
Yes, we have the Hallmark gift ornament, or it's a collector's ornament, I guess, or commemorative gift ornament. They're just selling them this year, so I understand. And they are really cute. They are so cute, and it's a little reindeer in a car that sings "Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer." And they're only making. We're able to get about 10 from Hallmark, and since then we've been trying to get a lot more. But you can get them only at the Gold Crown stores. And we can't find one around here, but it's the first thing I can say that really is a gift. You know, buying a CD of a Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer, no, I'm not sure if that would actually qualify as a gift. But this thing really is pretty cute and something that people would want to hang on to for a long time.
So I know you have a sense of humor, Dr. Elmo, and a lot of your stuff, well, most of your stuff is kind of family-oriented. But what do you think of a Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer video game to where, like the sled runs her over and you see the blood guts flying out? What do you think about that?
No, I'd be up for that. Why not? You know, that'd be great.
You're my man. You're my man. You're right in tune with what we do here.
I'm ready to throttle Grandma. I made a rap version of Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer.
Yes, you did, and we're going to play that. That had to be fun for you.
I actually met this rapper when I was coming into the studio, and he was leaving, and I was just talking to him for a little while. We talked about that, and sure enough, I said, maybe we could work together and make a rap version of it. So I sort of wrote something up, and he said, he came into the studio. He was really a great guy, and we sort of nicknamed him for my recording, Bling Crosby.
See, I told you reminded me of Bing. There you go. That says it all. No, it's a great song. I just recently saw you on a network news show, too, where you were on there. You sang a song with a bunch of kids. A kids choir. It was great.
Oh, it was a Good Morning America.
Yes.
And when we were going to go do it, like a couple of days before, they said, we're going to get a choir to sing it with you. And I said, I don't think that's a good idea because, I thought there was going to have a lot of little kids who were going to be singing off key and wouldn't be able to follow along very well or something. And so they didn't say any more. I was kind of sweating it. So then the morning we came in early and we started rehearsing, and it was the LaGuardia Performing Arts Choir. In LaGuardia Performing Arts School, it's a high school, and kids have to audition to get into it. And that's where the movie Fame came from, LaGuardia. And so it went from me thinking these kids aren't going to be good enough to sing behind me to when we started rehearsing, and I was the worst musician in the whole place. They were really amazing, and it was really a thrill. I mean, it was one of my biggest thrills to rehearse with those guys.
It was great. It was like you're sitting there, and you're surrounded like with a whole bunch of granddaughters and grandsons. It was fun. It was fun. I enjoyed it.
It was really a highlight for me because those kids were so talented.
Well, I'm really glad you come on. It was all last minute. I mean, I loved your publicist. We drove her crazy because we were like,
right.
We got to have Dr. Elmo. We were begging her, and she was like, well, you were so persistent, so go ahead. Yeah.
Right.
Imagine she doesn't have any hair because we had it all pulled out because we were just bugging her. But to us, you're like a big name, and we wanted to have you here, and we appreciate all you do for everyone.
No, thank you so much. This has been one of my most fun interviews ever, really, guys. I really
thank
enjoyed
you.
it.
Well, we got to have you back on again around Halloween time, and we'll do some more hyping of your Halloween stuff, okay?
Please do, yeah. Believe me, I'll be hounding you guys at Halloween.
Sounds good. In the meantime, you have a very Merry Christmas from us to you and a Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas, Tiffany and Terry.
All right,
okay.
bye-bye.
All right.
Yep.